guys. Welcome back. Boots come in pairs. Nice to have another full couple of weeks of baseball. A lot to talk about. With the Cubs. So we're going to start there tonight. Big news. First thing this week was Justin Steele going down for the year. He kind of dealt with this injury last year. They're kind of trying to figure out what's going on with him. That's a loss. That's a big loss. I know the Cubs are hitting well, so you may not feel it impact day to day. But the most interesting thing will be, how do they fill that void? So how do we fill that void? What are we looking at right now? What are our options?
Yeah, it's very tough to do because Justin is, I mean, even with the emergence of Shota Imanaga coming over, Justin's the ace. Justin's the guy. His last three full seasons, averaging about 26, 27 starts a year, always seems to have that little like injury setback. Last year, I believe it was a back thing, but always rebounds, always finishes strong. I mean, averaging a 3.1 ERA over those three full seasons that he's pitched, just tough as nails. Really gets the dugout fired up. Wants to be out there, fierce competitor. So, I mean, losing him is just it's near impossible to replace. We kind of saw him struggle early in the season. Came off a really solid 7-inning shutout in that his last start against the Rangers, and then ultimately the elbow came up and he's out for the year. He's going to get the thing reconstructed. Yeah. So I just think replacing him is going to be very difficult. I don't think they have the guy within the organization to do that. They can. I don't think Assad's ready yet. I don't know where Wicks is at. I'm assuming that when Wicks will probably get some spot starts. I'm sure Colin Ray will get some more innings as they build up his stamina. I've been liking what I've been seeing from Cade Horton down in AAA. I don't see him making his debut this season, and if he does, maybe later in the season. Just needs some more innings under his belt. I ultimately think that they will try to trade for somebody. Need to do that. Somebody solid. They're going to be in this race the entire year, but they need it desperately. They need someone to fill his space.
They will make a move because they will be in contention, and you have to. You can't lose a guy like Justin Steele and then just expect whoever to pick up the slack. Yeah, you're right. They don't have the big prospect arms. Wicks, we kind of have seen in the last couple of years. We kind of know what he is. Assad is very serviceable. He has pitched well, but we're trying to replace the 1A, 1B ace, right? Like that's what we're trying to replace. And you see teams like, Braves lost Strider last year. Teams lose their ace all the time. Like this does happen. They do need to address it. One name you did say was Cade Horton. I don't think that's a guy they can rely on, especially because he's coming off injury. They were talking about him this morning, just about how he hasn't pitched more than 80 innings in the minor leagues. So if you want him to go out, I think you're realistic. Yeah, like he might be a late season, I would say bullpen arm. To ask him to go out there and pitch 120, because right now you need to cover about 180 innings. The Steele usually throws about 200, right? You need 180 quality innings. And Matthew Boyd's been a breath of fresh air. Like he's pitched really well. You have some guys, I think, overachieving right now. You're going to need some help. I've heard Sandy Alcantara, but Craig was also alluding to it today with some, because everyone's like, the bullpen. He goes, trades aren't happening right now. And if they are happening, they're not usually guys that are impactful. The Brewers just scooped up a guy from the Red Sox that they were probably ready to move on from, and now he's pitching well with the Brewers, but like that's unexpected.
Was that Quinn Priester?
Yes.
That's former Cary Grove standout.
There you go. But I mean, yeah, he's pitching well, but unexpectedly well, right? Like he's not a big name. He wasn't like, the Brewers acquired. No.
Right.
So
first round draft pick of the Pirates.
Sure.
I mean, top 15 or 20 pick.
Sure.
But yeah,
this is not the blockbuster deal. And that was his point, is you're not going to see those moves now. But they will, because, the other solution I've heard about this is the Cubs may just slug their way to an NL Central title. And I do think that might be accurate. But they have to add an arm. They're going to add an arm. How many prospects are they willing to give up to do it? That'll be the big question mark. Another news this week was Matt Shaw being optioned. I think that was yesterday or 2 days
Yeah.
ago. That one, we probably might have seen that coming. You were hopeful that he was going to stay up a little longer, but he just wasn't really hitting. Defense was great. Defense, no question. He can play third base, but the bat's just not there yet. Meanwhile, Alex Bregman's having a 5-for-5 night, and we missed out on that. So them not addressing third base is kind of coming back to bite them.
Right.
We have some other options at third. We have John Birdie.
Yeah.
We have Brujan, who's coming off injury, coming back. Justin Turner, not excited about that. So there are guys that can play third, but this is kind of like worst case scenario, right?
Right.
For Matt Shaw.
Yeah. And it just continues to be the hole that they're not filling. And I mean, I feel like healthy Chris Bryant, which seems like a lifetime ago, was the last guy that they had, and they still haven't addressed it. And it just is disappointing more than anything. Matt Shaw is going to be quite a player. It was a very short 18 game sample size, only had like 58 at bats. One thing he did show is that he can get on base and he can score runs. I think he had 10 walks in those 18 games, which is impressive. He had 11 runs scored. Defense, he did make 4 errors, which is a little much, but again, learning the position at the major league level. I mean, he had played plenty of minor league, but this is a different game. But is very capable of playing any infield position on the diamond. I'm not really worried about him at all. He has 159 career minor league games and only like 34 at AAA. So he hasn't even had a full AAA season. He just got drafted in 2023. He like him being able to make it in his second full season of professional baseball is impressive on its own. So we will see him again. I'm not sure when that will be, but his hit tool's off the chart, and he's going to figure it out. Maybe he'll make a tweak to his swing, but again, smart guy, great athlete. He'll figure it out. But until then, we get the platoon of John Birdie, Justin Turner, Gage Workman, Vidal when he comes back. It'll continue to be a weak spot in the lineup, and hopefully we can get something out of it.
Hopefully Gage Workman can conjure up some of his spring training magic that he was showing earlier this year. The other part of that, though, too, is, and we were kind of talking about it before they went through this stretch, and now they're kind of most of the way through this stretch, they're playing the best teams in baseball. And they went into LA and took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. They had an opportunity today to take the series from San Diego, came up a little bit short. They, broke even with Arizona, right? So, like, again, you're playing 3 really good teams. 2 of them have been in the World Series in the last 3 years. Like, this is a tough start to the year. So Matt Shaw struggling is not, for me, as big of a concern. Yes, these are playoff teams, but, like, to start your major league career, A, in Japan, and then B, come back. And he also didn't have a full spring training. So a lot of this is like getting acclimated to Major League Baseball.
I mean, you said it 100%. And I don't know where I heard this. It might have been on ESPN, or it might have been Mark Grace when they were in Arizona. But they were talking about the Cubs' April being the most difficult strength of schedule month for any team in baseball this entire year. We're talking about seeing the Dodgers a few times, seeing the Padres a couple times, seeing the Diamondbacks a couple times, seeing the Texas Rangers. You're going to see Philadelphia coming up here at the end of the month before you finally get some relief when you play Pittsburgh. But Shaw's seeing Roki Sasaki, Yoshi Yamamoto, Nathan Eovaldi, Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly,
Tyler Glasnow,
Tyler Glasnow, Dylan Cease, Michael King. I mean, these are not slouch arms. These are great arms. The Dodgers and the Padres have 2 of the best bullpens in baseball. Even if you get to the starter, like, they're going to shut you down. So to me, Shaw being able to do what he's done, being able to take the walks, being able to score the runs, being able to run the bases well against the best in the game, that's encouraging, and he will figure it out. I'm excited for him. And if the Cubs can just get through this month with their heads above water, that'll be a plus.
The
It's
Padres,
encouraging to see.
the Padres are now 15-4, and they have lost 3 games to the Cubs.
Yeah.
So they've only lost to one other team one time, and
Their only home loss of the year is to the
it was
Cubs,
yesterday.
too.
So you just beat. They split with the best team in baseball, and they took 2 out of 3 in LA from the most expensive team in baseball. So it's just,
And the defending World Series champs.
yeah, and they have they've just and they have all these pitchers, and it's so for Matt Shaw. Hopefully he goes to Iowa and is like, man, these pitchers are way easier. We have the Pirates coming up. We have the can't get on base or get a hit Reds coming up. There's gonna be a lot of those games. The Brewers will be interesting, but they're not scoring a lot of runs either. So really, and the Cubs are scoring 6.5 runs a game. They scored 16 the other night in LA in a shutout win. They're scoring at a rapid pace, and it's very fun to watch. It's very exciting. It's very encouraging. It's fun too. I'm enjoying watching the Cubs again this year, which is good.
Right.
Another guy who is heating up is PCA. He had a 2-homer night and a triple in LA. He had another home run today. He's starting to see the ball better. Defense is always there. But one thing they were talking about on the ESPN broadcast that I like all of their announcers. Buster Olney was on, they had Perez on. I like these guys, but there's a lot of, I would call it, out-of-town stupid on what's going on. So the whole broadcast, while PCA is destroying the ball and having the night of his life, they're talking about why won't the Cubs offer him a contract extension? And it's like they did, and we were talking about it. It was the same number they offered him beginning of the season. They did offer him a contract extension literally earlier that day that he had turned down. So this notion that the Cubs just aren't willing to extend him, no, I think they're trying to navigate who he is as a player, right? But it's really easy for them as a countrywide broadcast to be like, this guy is amazing, and it always happens that way. Oh, this guy's doing something incredible. Why don't they pay him a lot of money? But it is fun to see him start to hit the ball, start to do some of those things, because as we've seen, he really can't bunt, even though he's really fast. So if he can hit the long ball and hit triples, turn a single into a triple, I'm there for it. How do you view PCA's heat up here?
It's great, and you've said it time and time again on this show. The guy's a game wrecker. He is by far one of the most talented. I would even call him a 5-tool player. I think he is capable of hitting for average as well. He's clearly got the power. These home runs are going a long way. If he can continue to be dynamic, steal bases, run the bases well, play good defense, he's got a great arm. He just has to find that consistency, learn how to take a walk a little bit better. There's times where he looks a little bit lost, but then there was times where he went through a stretch where he's walking a few times a game, a few times in a series, which is good. He's not swinging out of his shoes, but just the recognition, willingness to spray the ball all over the field. Just use those legs. That's a tool that you can't really teach, like that game-changing speed. You can get stronger and learn the other stuff. You can get a little bit faster, but the speed PCA has is not faster than that. You can't. I mean, you can't. You can get faster. You can lose weight. You can work with the speed and like conditioning coach, but like that kind of speed that PCA has cannot be taught. So. The thing that happens with some of these guys is they bulk up, they get stronger, they stop stealing bases. To me, that's not a great thing. I think you need to cause some chaos. You need to be able to run. But yeah, I think that you're right. The Cubs are trying to kind of gauge the kind of player he's going to be. They gave him a $75 million offer, which him and his team turned down. But it's like, where do you offer him $100 million? Like for 7 or 8 years, like what do you do?
And you don't have to be in a rush for it, right? Because he's on his rookie. He's got 5 more years of control, maybe 4, whatever it is. I mean, they're not in a rush for this, and you really can take your time and figure it out. Someone on the score the other day was talking, because again, when he's not hitting for average, you want to try and get him on base because he's just he just destroys you on the bases. He can, turn a walk into a double, maybe a triple, right? Because he just can steal second and third. So one of the guys was like, well, Ichiro would do this. Ichiro would lay down a bunt. Ichiro would just slap it the other way. Well, I think the huge difference is PCA does not have the contact that Ichiro does, and that's a different skill. No. Also, as you can see the last couple of games, this guy has a lot more slug. And not saying Ichiro couldn't, but that just wasn't his game, right? I mean, we watched him take batting practice and just pop him over the fence. He can do it, but PCA is showing that he might be more of a power hitter. Right. And that's fine. But to put a guy in a box, he's fast, so he should do no. If he's not capable, if he's not that hitter, if he's not slapping it, if he's not bunting, then again, he's got to figure out what major league hitter he is. And it's hard to offer a guy an extension on that. It's hard to value defense to that level too. If he was a defense only player, which he's not, but they also had Nico talk because this guy was trying to fish for it. He's like, oh, Nico, should PCA be bunting more? He goes, no, I've seen this guy take batting practice. I think he should just be doing himself. Right. And he's seen what he can do. He goes, he's a good hitter. He just needs to have results. Just because he's not showing it yet doesn't mean he's not a good hitter. So these guys know. That's why I encourage everybody. If you like the Cubs, even if you don't like the Cubs, listen to Nico Horner on Tuesdays at 2:30. He is so insightful. You'll just be much more baseball smart listening to this guy talk. But yeah, players know. Players know when guys can hit. Players know when guys have skill.
Yeah, and he'll figure it out. Again, he's in his early 20s. Loves the Cubs. Loves his teammates. He's a breath of fresh air. Loves showing up to the ballpark every day. I'm excited to see where he goes, and I hope that he's the engine that makes them move to that next level. Him being the game wrecker that he is only going to make them that much more dangerous to all the other teams in the league.
Yeah, and other teams hate him, which is good. They don't hate bad players, so there's a reason why people are like, "Oh, I can't stand that PCA guy." Well, yeah, because he's running.
Well, because he robs all of your hits, and he's going from first to home on a single to right field. He's a game wrecker.
Yep. The other side of the coin of that is Dansby Swanson struggling so much. I know I didn't have that as a topic, but that is also coming in there. He struck out 9 times in this Padres series. Again, great pitching. However, he's bringing his glove out there every day. He is still making phenomenal plays in the field. I feel like we're not talking about Dansby's bat as much this year because there's so much more density to this lineup. But at some point, he will hit or need to hit. But that's another story to continue to watch. A third one is also the catchers, and my sincere apologies to Miguel Amaya, who I criticized relentlessly last year. Carson Kelly and Miguel Amaya have been the best catching duo in the league. Carson Kelly is the best statistical hitter in the MLB. So congratulations to Cub catchers for finally figuring out that they're allowed to play the game and allowed to hit the ball as well. So I think combined they have more RBIs than Miguel Amaya had all of last year already. So it's refreshing to see that come out of that, basically the bottom end of the order, from your catchers, from your battery, who are also playing good defensively. So someone got in their ear this year. Fantastic.
Well, Amaya, I know they've said that he worked on his swing quite a bit. He figured something out later last year, which he's obviously carried on into this year, which is great to see. I mean, once the top prospect in the Cubs system had a lot of injury issues, had trouble staying on the field, but it's good to see his hard work coming to fruition. And Carson Kelly is just the epitome of a solid veteran. He will cool off offensively, but I mean, he has always been a solid contributor wherever he's been. Kind of a flamed out top prospect as well, but really has just his name. Right? He was a Cardinal prospect. He was a first round draft pick. People thought he was going to be the next big thing. He has just become a solid, reliable major league catcher. He's going to show up every day, do his thing. Call a good game, calm down your pitching staff. and just be a good morale guy. I'm glad that he's with this team, and I'm glad that he's doing so well.
And he'll occasionally hit for the cycle, just little
Right,
things
right,
like that. Little
right,
things.
for sure.
in
Yeah,
in a minor league baseball park, but still, cycle.
it's all right.
Yeah,
It's okay.
exactly.
Hmm.
The other area that's been a huge struggle point is the bullpen, which we called before the season even started. I think we may have seen the last of Nate Pearson in a Cub. God just can't get anybody out. It's
No.
miraculous. He's got incredible stuff, but just can't get anybody out. Luke Little came in today, walked 4 batters. I mean,
Mm.
it's almost when the Cubs are up and they have the lead and they go Porter Hodge, Ryan Stressley. He's figuring it out a little bit more, but like
Yeah,
that formula seems to work. Julian Merriweather has been pitching well. Those 3 guys, okay. But if the game is like a little bit close or they're trailing, I feel like every guy they bring in is just not. And again, I know how baseball works. Not every game are you going to shut the other team out, but it's like every time with these guys, they bring them in, it runs. Like how many guys with a 17 ERA are we going to have on the team? It's
right.
just
Right. And I mean, sadly, and I hope he figures it out. I don't know how long his leash is going to be, but like Eli Morgan has been terrible.
yeah, yes
He's
he
been
has.
bad. They only have one left-handed reliever. Granted, Thielbar's been pitching a lot better recently. Like yesterday's game, yesterday's win was like a master class in relief pitching. Like Shota gave up 1 run, and they pretty much the rest of the way to they was shut out. I mean, everybody pitched incredibly well. I'm glad that at least like 8 and 9 look pretty good. Like Presley's starting to throw strikes. Presley's 36 or 37 years old, but he's still got good stuff. Porter Hodge is great stuff, but they
Porter
definitely
Hodge has future closer stuff.
he has great stuff. Porter Hodge is fantastic,
He's
but
missing up to
they
the
need
right, but I feel like that's kind of effective for him because he's throwing at people's
right.
heads. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they need they need to figure out some kind of rhythm, or they need to add some arms. I'm sure there are plenty of guys out there. I don't know who they have in the minor leagues who, from a relief standpoint, who's going to be able to make an impact right now, but they have to figure it out. Like we cannot be going through the same song and dance that they've been going through for the last 5 years. Like we have to, but like you were saying before, the Cubs are probably just going to have to slug their way through this. But it's just maddening that they continue to not address this. Like it's same thing, third base. Like
yeah.
you continue to not address third base. Like these are huge holes. They're huge holes. Could you imagine if you signed a couple more good relievers? If they would have signed Alex Bregman. It's like they would be in a completely different place.
But it's not in the budget.
Yeah, I guess not.
Well, it's going to cost you some prospects here. That's what it's really going to come down to.
Right.
I think
versus signing a guy for an undervalued contract. They could have gotten Bregman for a 3-year contract, pretty manageable. I mean, higher like dollar per year, but really a low long-term investment. And yeah, same with these relievers. Like you could sign a guy for a couple years or 1 year. Like imagine if they would have like you have one lefty pitcher. Kirby Yates got like a $6 million contract. Kirby Yates has given up like no runs this year. He's striking out like 3 guys an inning. Like he was there for the taking. You could have grabbed Kirby Yates. He could have been your closer. Like come on.
All it costs you is money, and it's
right.
It's a little, again, guys have to want to come here, but I feel like Chicago sells itself. And once
If they would have given Kirby Yates like a year or 2 years, like 13 million, like that's 7 million, make 6.5, 7 million a year for a guy who's super effective, has pitched in high leverage situations, pitched in middle relief spots, strikes out a lot of guys, gets a lot of swing and miss. Like I just look at a guy like that. It's like, man, he was right there. He was right there for the taking.
I mean, another guy, again, not a relief pitcher, but Jose Iglesias today we're watching.
Right.
And that was a name we threw out, and he's a very serviceable he's a Gold Glove third baseman. He's the Gold Glove, whatever infield you put him at. He's 34. He is not your franchise player, but you bring and John Birdie is okay, but he's injury prone, and Jose Iglesias is better. He's a better hitter. He's a better fielder, and you just opted not. And again, I don't know if that was even on his Jed's radar, whatever. But like he's literally starting against you today, and he could have just been, and you just sent your big prospect down because he's not hitting.
Right.
Like
Right.
swing and
And
miss there.
he can play like you traded for Vidal Brujan. Like you can play Jose Iglesias at 3 out of the 4 infield positions. You could probably play him at first as well.
Yeah,
And
some
he's
weights.
like a career like 280 hitter. Like why would you not want a guy who can put his bat on the ball and can play Gold Glove defense at every infield position? Like that
Yeah,
just made all the sense in the world. I don't know why people like ignore him and his greatness.
yeah,
Like he's the guy who was the spark plug for the Mets last year. They were in the cellar until he joined the team, and he was just exactly what they needed. And it's like, to me, it's a perfect way to bridge the gap. You sent Shaw down anyways, so it's like, why not have a guy who can do all that for
yeah,
you?
yeah. But otherwise, I mean, up to this point, again, the Cubs are 12-9 now. I mean, I would take that for the teams they're playing. Great start to the year. One team that's not doing that, and again, they're a little injured, but still, when you have the talent they have, what is going on with the Atlanta Braves? Why can't they? I mean, they're missing Ronald Acuna Jr. still, that's fine. That's a big piece. I get that, but you still have Ozzie Albies. You still have Marcell Ozuna. You still have Matt Olson. You still have Austin Riley.
Mm-hmm.
Why are the Braves 4-13 now? Is that what the
They're
record?
like 5 and 13. I
They
think.
lost again today. Like I can see their pitching staff is not pitching well either, but like they are getting blown out. Um,
Yeah.
what do you do there? That's the other side of this is you have a talented roster that's just really underperforming there.
Yeah, I want to see. I'm going to look up right now who they've. I know they've played a couple tough teams, but they are not playing well at all. I'm going to look at their schedule, and I'm going
Yeah,
to see who
well
they've played so far.
that was one of the
I know
closer
they're
games.
playing. They're playing the Jays right now. The Jays are not a slouch team.
No,
Okay, so they played the Dodgers, the Marlins, the Phillies, the Rays, and the Jays. So not and then end of March. Oh, they got swept by the Padres. So they haven't. So they got swept. They lost their first 7 games of the year, but they played the Padres and the Dodgers. So they're pretty similar schedule to the Cubs. And yeah, and they played the Phillies. Like they put. So the Cubs have not played a team like the Marlins yet, and they also haven't played like the
yeah.
the Rays are okay, and the Jays are decent. But
Here's
yeah, they just lost the series to them.
here's the thing with the Braves though is they are in the class with the Padres and the Dodgers and all of them the last couple of years. So to be it's early. It's early, but to be 4-5-14 is
Yeah.
that's a rough start to your year when you
Yeah.
have as much talent as they have, when you
Yeah.
have the
Well, they
expectations
need
they have.
right. They need Ronald Acuna back. I'm not sure how long he's out for. I know like during our fantasy draft, I was looking at like projected stats, and they said he was going to play around like 120 games. So I think he probably has like a month or two left to go before he's back. But yeah, aside from Austin Riley and Marcell Ozuna, like they haven't been doing anything. And Ozuna is not even doing as well as he could be doing because they're pitching around him. They're pitching to Matt Olson, who is hitting 200. Since his MVP season, he's really dropped off. Great
Yep.
glove. I'm a really big fan of Matt Olson, but just not doing what they need him to do. Albies is hitting like 240. You're getting like 180 from like De La Cruz and Kelnick, and
Yeah. Sean
you're not
Murphy's
you're not
Sean Murphy's back though, and he's got his slug again, which is
right,
good. That's
but he's
encouraging to
hitting
see.
but he's hitting 200. I
Yeah.
mean, Michael Harris is only hitting like 180. So you're
Yeah.
really, aside from Ozuna and Austin Riley, you get nothing from your offense. Pitching, Spencer Schwellenbeck has been unreal. Their top pitching prospect, ace of their staff right now. He's pitching really well. They just got Spencer Strider back today. 5 innings, 2 runs. Ended up getting the loss today, but great to have him back. They had him for like 1 game last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chris Sale has been bad.
Sale's
Bryce
been bad.
Elder,
That's yeah.
Bryce Elder has been bad.
Mhm.
Um, Grant Holmes has been okay. He's got like a 3.75 ERA. Had a nice outing the other night. I think Ronaldo Lopez, I think he only threw one game and he got hurt. So that's kind of tough. But yeah, the bullpen hasn't been great either. Raisel Iglesias hasn't been great. Like, especially their high leverage guys. Pierce Johnson hasn't been great. So they're just not playing great baseball aside from their fielding. They're like third in baseball when it comes to like fewest errors. So they're playing really good defense. All their defensive guys are out there. But yeah, they're really not doing well on the hitting side or the pitching side, with the exception of a couple performers. So I'm not really surprised that they are where they are, but playing the type of talent that they're playing, it's not completely out of the realm of possibility for them to be where they're at. But like you said, they're supposed to be in that upper echelon with these teams who they're getting their asses whooped by.
Yeah, you're trending more towards White Sox territory than a contender. So no team has ever gone 0-7 to start a year and make the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see if they can recover from that.
And the East is not it's not a slouch division. No. I mean, when you got to deal with New York and Philadelphia, that's a tough go, man.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's not the Central where every other team is at or below 500.
Right.
Couple other, I'm gonna call them goods. The goods. I got a couple of the goods here. Jacob Wilson, son of Pirate legend Jack Wilson, who I did not know the connection there until they showed his first major league home run. He's doing really well, but I think what's more the connection between the two of them. It's cool. I mean, usually he'd be a Blue Jay, so it's weird seeing someone else from a different organization.
Right. So what's funny is that I found that out like last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago. I remember when the Athletics drafted him. It was Jacob Wilson, Grand Canyon University, like 6'3", like lanky shortstop. I'm like, okay, like he had a really good like hit tool, but I'm like, what? Like, why are the Athletics picking this guy? And then I'm like, oh. Like your dad like lived in my freaking like
Web Gem Gold Gloves.
Web Gem Gold Glove. Like that's my highlight. Like Jack Wilson and Jose. Oh my gosh. Oh man. It was Freddie. It was Freddie Sanchez. But before him, there was the second baseman. They oh my gosh, it's Jose something. I can't think of his name, but like that was a double play combo.
Jose Vidro was for
no. It was oh man, it was Jose something. But like he was really good, and then Freddie came after him. But like this guy Jack and this Jose guy, whoever played second base for the Pirates for those couple years, like they were just highlight reel, like prime time every game in Pittsburgh.
It'd be the Pirates lost 13-4, but Jack Wilson made 6 plays tonight, and here are those.
I feel like it was like was it Jose Castillo?
That doesn't ring a bell.
I think it was Jose Castillo. We're gonna look up Jack Wilson here. Maybe one day we'll have somebody who can look up stats for us while we're
right. No, that's you.
No, that's me. No, I gotta do some research and come prepared.
Here's the fun part of this. I can't navigate off my screen, otherwise no one will be able to see anything. So I'm stuck. So it is you for now. Unless you want me to be on my phone while we're doing this.
No, I do not. I do not. Sure? 2003 Pittsburgh Pirates. So Wilson made the All-Star team in 2004. I'm pretty sure it was Jose Castillo was the second baseman. I'm pretty sure he was the guy. Okay, on this team, I don't know who Jeff Rebulet is. Who the heck is that? Randall Simon, Aramis, Brian. Dude, Jason Kendall is one of my guys. I love Jason Kendall. He was great. 04. I'm gonna look at 04. Lloyd McClendon, manager. Okay. Yeah, Jose Castillo, 129 games.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so this lineup: Kendall, Darrell Ward, Jose Castillo, Wilson, Ty Wigington, Jason Bay, Tyke Redmond. Remember him?
Oh yeah.
And then Craig Wilson and right.
Future Cub.
Yeah, Darrell Ward. I like Daryl Ward, man.
Mister hit the running sausage with the
Oh
bat, Daryl Ward. Yep.
no, that was Randall Simon.
Oh, Rand, are you sure?
Yeah, I'm 100%
Maybe. Well, they
positive.
both played for the Cubs. Either
Yeah.
way.
So this was oh 03 is when he would have done that, and then he got traded to the Cubs because he was not on this 04 team. But Wilson in 04, which is his only All Star season, um, 200 hits, 41 doubles, 12 triples, 11 bombs, 59 RBIs, 308 batting average, 794 OPS, which is one of the top. Jack Wilson was such a solid pro.
Yeah. Well,
That's a great baseball pedigree, and I'm glad that his son is playing well.
yeah. Wish he wasn't playing for the Athletics. Best of
Right.
luck there. But if you play well enough, you can move on from there because they won't pay you. We know that. Even though they're moving to Vegas, they still won't pay you.
Right.
Another guy doing really well, kind of tiptoed on it, Alex Bregman, um, really turning it on. Devers is still struggling, but he is starting to figure out what's going on there, which the Red Sox win a few more games. But yesterday went 5 for 5. I think
Yep.
3 home runs. Did he have 3 home runs yesterday?
Two bombs.
I mean, yeah, that's what you wanted with this guy. And if they're in Fenway, I mean, he's going to be such a good hitter in Fenway Park.
Oh man,
With the monster, he kind of
he's gonna shellac that wall, dude.
Yeah, so that's another good one to see. And the last little good thing I have is Matt Mervis is crushing it
That's awesome
for the Marlins. I mean, talk about a guy. It's like I think there's too much expectation here. Just brought him up too early. Again, I know it's early, but to see him hitting homers and be productive down there, good for him. I always like to see guys kind of come back and kind of resurrect their career. And he's not even that old. He's like 26. Like, and Miami's kind of the perfect place for him to kind of do that. But yeah, Matt Mervis,
and a great story as well. Like a later round draft pick, kind of thinking that he was going to be a 4A player, but like, man, playing in a big market, playing for the Cubs, having all the expectations, like it can just crush you. But it just goes to show that these guys are all exceptional baseball players, and they got here for a reason. And sometimes you just need a change of scenery in order to get the monkey off your back, and then you can flourish. Very excited to see what he's been doing. I'm looking forward to seeing more. It'd be awesome if he could hit like 30 bombs this year. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I know I kind of put you on the spot with that, but anything like that that's kind of striking you so far this year?
I'm trying to think. I didn't put too much thought into that, which is probably a good thing. Sometimes it's good to just go off the cuff. I'm trying to think who I've seen who's just been pitching really well or hitting really well. I have to admit, like I've been watching a lot more baseball, at least at this point in the season than I was last year. Sometimes you just, again, get home from work and you're tired or you have obligations. But like Sunday, I just threw on a couple games and like I was on my computer doing other stuff, but like just being able to throw on a game and watch some guys, watch a pitching matchup. I will say, because it popped up on my social media today, I was watching Paul Skeens, his last outing, and he was throwing this slider at like 83 miles an hour. They're like, oh, this is like the first time he's ever faced his ex-teammate with LSU, Dylan Cruz. They're playing the Nationals, and Dylan Cruz had a couple like really tough at bats against him. They were a couple like ground out back to the pitcher and ground out to the second baseman. It's really hard to get hits off Paul Skeens because he's just elite. But he was spinning the slider, and it's like, oh my gosh! It's like you throw 100 gas that's on you. It's right on your hands, like right away, and then you're throwing this change up that's 90, and then you're spinning this curveball or this slurve that's at 83, and it's just like all the same arm slot. It's just ridiculous.
I didn't watch his last start, but I did watch the Cardinal start where he did get beat up a little bit. He allowed up 5 runs, most runs he's allowed in his career. I didn't see him throwing 100 miles an hour. Did you see him throwing 100 miles an hour the other night?
Upper 90s, like 98.
I saw 96. I saw 98. I did not see triple digits.
Right.
I think he is, I don't want to say he's dialing it back a little bit, but maybe he's preparing to pitch 200 innings this year. That would be my thought, because throwing 100, even for a guy like him who's built for it, that he works on it, it's still a lot to ask your body to go out there and throw 100 miles an hour for 32 starts. So
Right.
seeing it early, maybe he's ramping up. Maybe by midsummer he'll be pumping triple digits. But even taking a little bit off, I've heard some other pitchers talk about how they wouldn't throw, especially when you're a starter. And I'm not saying he's going to do this, but you don't throw 100% every pitch. You can't do that. You can't do that for longevity of your career. It's just not going to work out. But when you need, at the time, if it was 95, whatever it was, you have that in your bag, and you, for a couple pitches a game, you can bring it in there. For Paul Skeens, if you need 100, you know it's there.
Okay, right. Which pitcher am I thinking of who's made a career out of doing that? He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, and he's older. Who am I thinking of who does that better than? Yes,
yeah,
better than anybody.
And he's probably the one who said it. And I just can't remember.
He
the quote.
can operate in the mid 90s like all game, and then in the ninth inning when he's trying to close that one out, like giving everything he's got, hitting 101. So Verlander, yeah, that's a good way to go about it for sure.
It's really, the name of the game is getting 27 outs before the other team does, right?
Right.
So if you don't have to pitch, and I'm not saying it's, but like, I don't know, like you don't need to tax yourself like that. And I think I've seen it just because when Paul Skeens is pitching, you can't help but look at the bottom corner, and every time he throws a pitch, see how fast it was. That's just part of the nature of watching Paul Skeens pitch. So the other night when I was watching, I was like, oh, he's not popping all three digits.
Right.
It's like, okay, well maybe he's doing something different. Because the other concern is his arm sore? Is he fatigued? Is he whatever? Because when you see go from 100 to 96, you're like, well, that's 4 miles per hour. Is he trying to throw hard? It's not there. I think he's intentionally doing it, which I think he should. We all want to see Paul Skeens pitch a full season. We all want to see the Pirates, who are not going to sign him, which will probably trade him soon. We want to see them be competitive, so he's pitching meaningful baseball. It's just probably not going to happen there. So, it's good to see him bounce back, too, from letting up some runs. But, yeah, you said the Nationals. Another guy who's doing really well is James Wood.
Starting to pick it up a little bit. I'm a big James Wood guy.
Cruz is struggling a little bit, but he didn't have a ton of time last year. But the Nationals are going to play their kids, and they should. This is what's exciting about the Nationals. So,
definitely. I did just have a couple guys come to mind. One of them is on my radar just because he's on my fantasy team. The other guy's on my radar just because he's having a great season so far. Both of them are arms. The first guy is Chris Bassett. Chris Bassett, through three, I think it was his third start or fourth start today, has a .77 ERA, is averaging about 5 or 6 innings a start. He was one of those guys infamously a couple of years ago who was like, hey, like, why don't guys who are pitchers who don't necessarily have that triple-digit high 90s velocity, like, why don't they get more respect? Why do they not get the big contracts? Chris Bassett's just been a guy who's been super effective his whole career, has done really well. He's a pitcher, goes out there and grinds. He's one who has done really well and who's been on my radar, mainly just because he's on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
But
I agree with Chris Bassett, but also for the reason because Chris Bassett puts up Chris Bassett numbers, which one year he's really good, next year is a 5 ERA. So that's why they don't pay you. But I appreciate what he's doing and how he speaks for sure.
Right.
But yeah.
And then the other guy who is just nasty and young, and I'm glad to see him doing well. You were talking about his team not being able to score runs a few minutes ago. Hunter Green.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
I mean, we've been waiting for this and granted, I mean, his last couple of years, especially last year, that was kind of his coming out party. But like, this is a guy who was hitting triple digits in high school. Yeah. Number 2 overall pick, I believe it was 2017 or 2016. But yeah, has just superstar written all over him. He's finally figuring out. He's like 26 now. His last start, they said this is like on my social media, I saw like this is the perfect pitch. He's got like that 3/4 arm slot, and he threw 100 miles an hour, perfectly dotted right in the corner, like outside corner to a left-handed hitter. It's like, how are you supposed to touch that? But like, guy has a nasty like upper 80s, low 90s slider, like really putting it together. We're going to be in Cincinnati late May. We are going to, I believe it's the Friday game, but I really want to try to line up one of his starts. I might try to sneak in another game. If he's pitching that Saturday, I would love to see him in person. Electric and definitely one of the up-and-coming guys for sure.
Yeah. I've noticed I am in the phase of life, too, where I may, especially if I'm going to go to a game, I'm 15 minutes from, the Brewers. If I'm going to go to a game, I want to make sure the pitching matchup is good before I go. So I am in the phase of life where I don't want to just go to a game to go to a game. If I'm going to go, I want to see a good pitching matchup. So especially locally, if I'm going to go to a Brewer game, I need to make sure. So yeah, if the Reds are in town.
Well, we've always been like that though. We've always kind of looked at the matchup, but it was more so like, hey, we're going to the Saturday game. Oh, I hope this person's pitching. And guess who it was normally? Kyle Hendricks. Like he was the guy who was always pitching. We've probably seen Kyle Hendricks pitch more than anybody.
Kyle Hendricks, John Lester, we see a lot of them.
Chris Capuano.
Unfortunately, Doug Davis, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, in the current state, I used to be down, and I will, if you give me tickets, I'll go. But if I'm going to physically go to a series, I'm going to pick out the game with the best pitching right now. Like, again, not if it's a Cubs series, I'm going to go. I'll go either way. I don't care. I don't care if Carlos Marmol is pitching.
Man,
we'll go.
If you would have caught that Scooble game when Detroit was in town, oh, man, that would have been fun to go to.
Yeah.
He was nasty.
Someone said, that I think the Tigers scored 2 runs in the first, and they're like, yeah, this game's over. And they didn't score off Scooble, so he's electric.
He's fantastic.
That would be the one thing. If you're the Cubs and you look at the Pirates and the Reds, I'm not saying you sweep them all the time, but the one game you hope you miss is Paul Skeens Day and Hunter Green Day. Those are the two guys that could give you trouble. The rest of it, it's like with your offense, you should be able to put up a number on whoever the Pirates or the Reds are putting out there. So those are games you're kind of circling on your calendar of like, all right, we need to win these series. And again, if you face those two guys, okay, maybe you win 2 out. You focus on winning the series. If you don't, I'm not saying it's a must sweep, but it's, you should be favored. And that's where I feel with them right now. The Cubs are going to these games, even versus good teams, and I'm like, they can win these games. They can win these series, especially versus those teams that are – the Reds are struggling to score runs really bad. And Ellie De La Cruz is dynamic, but they're just not hitting at all. So
no.
But,
nope.
Yeah, fun stuff to watch. Yes, Hunter Green was I've seen him throw, and I was like, yep, that's the name you're going to say. Absolutely. Well, we will have another couple of weeks of baseball under our belt by the next time we talk. Like, follow, subscribe, comment. Big thing, comment. Ryan's been commenting a lot on our stuff too, but like just the more interaction we get, it's a lot more fun. We've had people doing it in the past, so just good to get other people's perspectives. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun doing our episodes so far. We're closing in on 50, so that'll be fun. We'll have to do something cool for that as well. Maybe have a guest on or just do something special. But either way, we'll be talking baseball, so it will be a lot of fun. Well, until next time, Boots come in pairs. Take it easy.
Peace.